Well, what's up, guys? This is Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and I think we're on day 3, maybe day 4 of burning this big brush pile. And as you can see, I got the grapple on the tractor, and I just come out here about once or twice a day and just restack and repush and repile, and trying to be careful not to run the tires over any coals. But the brush pile's starting to really dwindle in size. It's not near as big as it was, and I've still got 1 or 2 spots that I've tried to light that will burn for a few hours and never really carry. But we started over here 3 days ago, I guess. I mean, you can see where the little bit of light colored ash is right there, and it's literally burned all the way across. I've been trying to burn it from different directions, but a little at a time. Boy, it keeps just cooking along. So we're gonna get this thing burn up. Like I said in the beginning, it may take a week. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's just an update on the brush pile. Look at this bull. I left the grapple up in the air. Found him a good scratching post. Does that feel good, buddy? Hey, you got you got grease all over your hair. I don't know what part of the tractor you've been rubbing on, but you found some grease, buddy. Anyways, as I was saying, that's really not what today's video is about. Today, I think I'm going to try to take the backhoe off of this TYM tractor. Now, this is the first tractor that I've ever had that had a backhoe attachment, and this is not a 3-point hookup. It's actually what they call a subframe attachment. So that backhoe, part of the backhoe frame goes all the way up to here, midway through the tractor. So it should be a pretty simple process unhooking it. Tony from Tony's Tractor Adventures got a really good example on not this exact model, but a TYM tractor with a backhoe on it. Basically, I'm just watching Tony's video and trying to mimic what he did to take his off and put it back on. The backhoe works great. It's not a bad attachment for a tractor for small jobs. It's definitely not an excavator or a mini excavator. This bull cracks me up. Does that feel good, buddy? I just need to leave a grapple bucket out here for you all the time to scratch on. Why don't you let me rotate that a little bit and you can actually get to those teeth. Now you're too short to rub on the top ones. So back to the backhoe. I'm going to take it off just because you can't use the 3-point attachments you can't hook any other 3-point attachments on there when the backhoe's on there. Now, it is a really good counterweight, really good counterbalance when you're trying to lift big stuff with the front end loader. But I got a lot of other projects I need to get started on and I need to do. And I've got several 3-point attachment tools on the way. Implements is the right word, I guess. So I'm going to try to take this off. And kind of watching my fire. I'm going to babysit my fire for just a few more minutes and then we'll head up. I've got a little concrete pad that used to be a set of dog pens by the house, and I think that'll be a good place to unhook it and at least try to keep it on level, solid ground. Well, maybe not level, but flat, solid spot. All right, so here's the little concrete pad where I'm going to store this backhoe attachment. Now, I will say this is not a how-to tutorial on how to take off this backhoe attachment. If you want a how-to tutorial, you need to go check out Tony's Tractor Adventure video on this. I'll put a link in the description box if I remember. He walks you through it step by step, and he knows a lot more about this than me. But the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm a total amateur. I've never had a backhoe attachment until this one, and I'm sure there are a lot of other people out there in the world who would be interested in buying a tractor with a backhoe attachment, but they're unsure as to whether or not they would be able to put it on, take it off, the difficulties and how complex and hard it is. From watching Tony's video and reading the manual on this thing, it's pretty simple. There's several steps to it, but it's not supposed to be very difficult. It does have 2 pins, 2 little pins right, well, one's right there and the other is right here on this side, if it'll focus for me, right here on this side, and that's basically all that holds the attachment onto the tractor. Your 3-point hookup, I do need to move this out of the way. Your 3-point arms, your top bar and all that stuff is not what's holding this on the tractor. So first thing I'm going to do is fire this thing up and set the outriggers down and reach out with that boom, lay it on the ground, and then I should be able to get in there and pull those pins out. So right now, I've just got the weight of the backhoe itself supporting its own weight. I've got the backhoe boom and the outriggers supporting its own weight. Hydraulic lines are still hooked up. I pulled those 2 pins. We do need to leave the hydraulic lines connected so that we can function it as we get away from it. You gotta, basically, I'm just gonna pull forward just a little bit and disconnect that frame from the tractor itself, and then we'll be able to lower the backhoe down to the ground with its own power. Then we'll unhook the hydraulic lines and be able to pull away from it. All right, so as you can see, this attachment does take up quite a bit of space. And here's what I was saying. Here's where the attachment would be at the back of the tractor right here. And we've got another 5 or 6 feet that you have to account for when you're storing this thing. So that's why it's not stored under a roof right now, is it just takes up so much space. You're looking at probably 20 feet from here to where the end of that's going to be, and I just don't really have the real estate room under a roof right now to store it. So we'll figure that part out later. And it really wasn't difficult unhooking this. Now the hard part, in my opinion, is going to be reconnecting it back to the tractor. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not exactly on level ground. It is kind of running downhill right here, but we are pretty level side to side. So I think when I get ready, all I have to do is just back up over that frame, hook up my hydraulic lines, and use the hydraulic power to lift this back up just like it was. Now, unhooking it really wasn't difficult. I would say it probably took 20 minutes. You can see I got in and out of the tractor multiple times. I was trying to be very careful, because one thing that my dealer warned me about is there's a hydraulic filter basically in a terrible spot. So as you can see from the back of the tractor, this is the cradle right here where that frame sets in, but you got the 2 other long arms that follow, along these rails. Let me go over here and show you a better angle. So those 2 arms on this have to basically follow and match up with these 2 arms on either side of the tractor, and it hooks into this cradle right here. But do you see that hydraulic filter right there? They said one of the worst problems they found about hooking this thing up to the backhoe is when you run that metal rod, you're trying to follow that path of that other metal beam right there, you can knock the bottom of that filter off really easily. Basically, he said the reason I know it's so easy to knock that filter off is because they've done it in the shop multiple times on brand new tractors and brand new backhoes. So I'm not saying it happens to everyone, but it's something to be concerned about and to watch for. And I don't know, other tractors are different. Other models of the same brand may be different. But I'm gonna get the tractor and do a little bit of work without that backhoe on there. Having the backhoe attachment's been different, I would say. Getting used to adjusting to working with a tractor with this hanging off the back, and that way that mounts in. It has a little bit of movement, a little bit of play. It has to, so that you can back in and hook it up and pull out from it. It mounts, and when it's mounted on the tractor, it's not going anywhere, but it does have a little bit of movement, so when you turn or you're on a hill, it shifts and moves. And that thing's a lot of weight off the back of this tractor. One thing I haven't done yet is have the tires filled. I've got a friend that's a diesel mechanic, and I may have him fill these back tires for me to add some extra weight back here. But I wanted to use it for a while without weighted tires, just to see if it gets front heavy, you know, lifting hay bales off the front and different things. And then pretty soon we'll have lots of different attachments to go on the back. But yeah, wasn't too bad overall. Stick around until we'll have to wait and see what it's like when we hook it back up to the tractor. All right, little public service announcement. Do you remember when you were a kid and your parents said, do as I say, not as I do? Well, it basically meant you were doing something that they do, but you shouldn't have been doing it. Well, don't do what I just did. That was very dangerous, incredibly dangerous. But I really wanted to see how this tractor would handle, how this tractor would do. And that's why, first off, I came and picked up a very, very large green oak log. This thing is probably 18 inches in diameter on the small end. The larger end is probably more like maybe close to 2 feet. There's no telling what this big oak log weighs, but as you saw, the tractor has no problem. The front end loader has no problem at all. The grapple has no problem at all picking that up. And I put that log here with this tractor. I moved it from way up here behind my house a few weeks ago. But it had the backhoe attachment on there, which is just roughly guessing, I'm not sure, I'd have to look up the specs, 1,000 pounds probably, 850, 1,000. It's a lot of counterweight, and it sticks way off the back of the tractor. This front end loader will lift an incredible amount of weight, just like it was able to lift that log. But you saw when I started to back up, the back tires just wanted to spin, and when I put it in four-wheel drive, it would back up, but I'm telling you, it was teetering on those front tires. The back tires are just barely in contact with the ground, and that's why they just sit right here and spin. And then I came and picked up this smaller log. Now I am obviously sticking out way more on one side than the other, but I just wanted to see, how's this tractor going to balance, how's it going to do. And this is not a huge tree by any means. It's just long, so you know, it's like walking a tightrope. You know, those guys, they've got a really long stick for balance. Well, I have this thing way off balance, and that's why I left that side so close to the ground, because I knew this thing was going to teeter and be kind of dangerous. And it definitely teetered trying to move this log. Now obviously, if I had picked it up in the middle and then lowered the center of gravity to where the grapple was only, you know, maybe a foot off the ground, it would have carried this just fine. I'm just trying to test out how front heavy this tractor is going to be without that backhoe on there. And I'm definitely going to be filling the back tires for counterweight balance. And you know, quite honestly, I almost never operate a tractor with no implement on the back. I always in the past have left like a box blade or something on the back just for counterweight, for counterbalance. And my John Deere tractor, the tires were filled. The Kubota tractor, the tires were filled with liquid, and that makes a huge difference. But this was a brand new tractor, and I just wanted to see how it would handle, how it would do. And you know, it's got a little more weight than the previous two tractors I had, so I thought, well, let's test it out and see what it does. Definitely needs some counterweight balance. That backhoe on there, when I had the backhoe on, moving those big heavy logs, it never once felt unsafe, unstable. The back tires didn't spin at all. Made a huge difference. But I don't want to leave the backhoe on all the time, because it does stick off, you know, another 6 feet probably. And I do move a lot of round bales of hay, which I can use the front end loader for that. But I've got to maintain my driveway. I've got to be able to mow and do stuff with the 3-point hookup. So the backhoe is one of those things for me. It's great to have. It's a great convenience. It's an awesome addition to what this tractor can do, but it's not something I want to leave on there all the time. So I will be reaching out to my buddy and having him fill these tires for me. That'll add a couple 100 pounds of counterweight balance. And then we've got implements coming. So once we do have implements here, I'm actually not getting a box blade. I'm going to get a land plane. I've never used a land plane, so that's what I ordered. And I hear they are incredible for, you know, maintaining a driveway, maintaining a road and stuff. Either way, it's going to be a couple extra, maybe, I don't know, 400 pounds probably sticking off the back. So it'll help counterweight balance that front end loader. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for me today. I know this was kind of a different video. I've never taken a backhoe off of a tractor. Wasn't that hard. It'll be interesting trying to put it back on. And as you can see, this is a TYM 574. It's a 55 horsepower tractor. I love it. It's a great tractor. The front end loader will pick up a house if you ask it to. You just better have another house on the back to counterweight balance it, as you can see. So do as I say, not as I do. That was a little bit dangerous, but at least kind of have an idea of what this thing can handle, what it can do. And now I know for sure we do need more weight off the back. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day, and as always, we'll see you on the next video.